Indian's Scout family splits into two distinct personalities for 2026, the muscular, blacked-out Scout Bobber and the leaner, sportier Sport Scout 60. Both wear the iconic Scout name, but they target different riders, budgets, and riding styles. Here's how they stack up. The Scout Bobber leans into a stripped-down, blacked-out aesthetic, with chop bobber fenders, a headlight nacelle, and a solo bobber-style seat that reinforces its minimalist, custom-built look. It's built for riders who want an aggressive, low-slung stance straight off the showroom floor. The Sport Scout 60 takes a different visual approach, described by Indian as performance-inspired, with mini-ape handlebars and integrated risers, a quarter fairing for wind protection, a sport-style seat, and a 19-inch front wheel that gives it a more upright, cafe-inspired silhouette. Riders drawn to the classic bobber look will gravitate toward the bobber, while those wanting something closer to a sport cruiser crossover will prefer the 60. The quarter fairing on the 60 isn't just cosmetic either. It provides genuine wind protection at speed, something the naked bobber simply doesn't offer in stock form. The Scout Bobber runs the full-size 1250cc liquid-cooled V-twin with a 60-degree cylinder angle, a bore and stroke of 104 by 73.6 millimeters, and a 12.5-to-1 compression ratio. The Sport Scout 60, true to its 60 naming convention, uses the smaller 999cc liquid-cooled Speed Plus V-twin with a 93mm by 73.6mm bore and stroke and an 11.0-to-1 compression ratio. Both share the same 60-degree V-twin architecture and closed-loop fuel injection, but the Bobber's larger displacement gives it a clear mechanical advantage in outright grunt, while the 60's smaller engine keeps things lighter, cheaper, and friendlier for newer riders stepping up in displacement over time. The Bobber also benefits from a 6-speed transmission versus the 60's 5-speed, giving it more relaxed cruising RPM at highway speeds. On paper, the Scout Bobber produces 105 horsepower and 82 foot-pounds of peak torque at 6,300 RPM. The Sport Scout 60 produces 85 horsepower and 65 foot-pounds of peak torque at 6,500 RPM. That's a 20 horsepower and 17 foot-pound gap in the Bobber's favor, a meaningful difference for highway passing power and overall punch off the line. The 60's 5-speed transmission versus the Bobber's 6-speed also means it runs out of gears sooner, which matters most at sustained highway speeds. For riders who prioritize outright performance and don't mind the extra displacement, the Bobber is the clear choice. For those who want a more manageable, confidence-building power delivery, the 60's tamer output is a feature, not a shortcoming. It's also worth noting the Sport Scout 60 is offered in an A2 compliant specification in some markets, restricting output further for newer or license-limited riders, something the full-power Bobber does not offer. The Scout Bobber sits at 25.6 inches laden, 26.2 inches unladen, while the Sport Scout 60 sits at 25.7 inches. Both models use mid-mount controls that place the rider's weight directly beneath them, contributing to a low center of gravity and confidence-inspiring low-speed maneuverability. In practice, the seat height difference is negligible, so this category comes down more to seat shape and reach to the bars, where the 60's mini ape hangers create a noticeably different riding posture than the Bobber's more neutral setup. The 60 sport-style seat is also shaped to let riders shift position more easily on longer stretches, while the Bobber's solo seat prioritizes visual minimalism over long-haul comfort. Both bikes offer accessory 2-up seating for riders who want to add a passenger. The Scout Bobber runs matching 16-inch cast wheels front and rear wrapped in Pirelli MT60 RS tires, 130/90 B16 front, 150/80 B16 rear, which reinforces its planted, custom bobber stance. The Sport Scout 60 instead runs a 19-inch front wheel paired with a 16-inch rear, both shod in Metzeler Cruise Tech rubber, 130/60 B19 front, 150/80 B16 rear. The larger front wheel on the 60 is a deliberate styling and handling choice, giving it sportier, more agile steering geometry that echoes cafe racer influences, while the Bobber's dual 16-inch setup favors low-speed stability and visual heft. Tire brand differs too.
The bobber wears Pirelli's MT60 RS dual sport-styled rubber, while the 60 rides on Metzeler's Cruise Tech line, developed specifically for cruiser handling characteristics. Both use a 41mm telescopic fork with 4.7 inches of front travel and dual shocks out back, but rear travel is where they part ways. The Scout Bobber offers just 2.0 inches of rear travel, intentionally slammed for its aggressive, low-slung custom look, while the Sport Scout 60 offers 3.0 inches, giving it a slightly more forgiving ride over rough pavement. The Bobber's tighter suspension setup trades comfort for its stripped-down aesthetic, while the 60's extra give makes it marginally more comfortable for longer rides, though neither bike is designed with touring comfort as the top priority. Both share an identical front fork tube diameter of 41mm and matching front brake setups, so the biggest handling differences ultimately trace back to wheel size and rear-end travel, rather than fork specification. The Scout Bobber weighs 522 pounds dry, 542 pounds in running order, while the Sport Scout 60 is slightly heavier at 529 pounds dry, 549 pounds running order, despite its smaller engine, largely a function of its taller front-end architecture and quarter fairing. Both share an identical 61.5-inch wheelbase and 86.9-inch overall length. Lean angle favors the 60 slightly, at 33 degrees versus the Bobber's 31 degrees, giving it marginally more cornering clearance, likely a byproduct of its 19-inch front wheel geometry. Both bikes also share an identical fuel capacity of 3.4 gallons and a matching ground clearance in the 4.3 to 4.4-inch range, so range and rideability between fill-ups will feel very similar day to day. In standard form, the Scout Bobber includes a digital speedometer, digital tachometer, odometer, fuel gauge, compass, ambient temperature readout, and gear indicator. The Sport Scout 60 takes a more analog approach, pairing an analog speedometer with a digital tachometer, odometer, trip meter, engine temperature readout, and low fuel lamp. Both come standard with ABS and LED lighting throughout. Riders wanting a fully digital dash out of the box will lean toward the Bobber, while those who like a classic analog speedometer with modern digital support will appreciate the 60's hybrid gauge cluster. Riders wanting Ride Command's GPS navigation and Bluetooth connectivity can step up to Limited or Limited Plus Tech trims on either lineup. The Sport Scout 60 starts at roughly $10,499 MSRP in base trim, positioning it as one of the more accessible entry points into the Scout lineup. The Scout Bobber, built on the larger displacement platform, starts higher, with the broader Scout family beginning at $12,999 MSRP. That roughly $2,500 difference reflects the larger engine, 6-speed transmission, and additional torque the Bobber offers, and it's a significant factor for newer riders or anyone shopping on a tighter budget who still wants an authentic Scout ownership experience. Both lineups scale upward through Limited and Limited Plus Tech trims, so the price gap generally holds proportionally as buyers move up the trim ladder on either bike. The Indian Scout Bobber and Sport Scout 60 aren't really competing for the same buyer. They're serving two different points in a rider's journey. The Scout Bobber is the more powerful, more aggressive, more visually stripped-down machine, built for riders who want maximum torque and a classic bobber stance without compromise. The Sport Scout 60 is the more accessible, more upright, and more affordable option, ideal for newer riders or those who prioritize a lighter power delivery and sportier ergonomics over outright muscle. Neither bike is objectively better. The right choice depends entirely on whether you're prioritizing performance and presence or approachability and value.